Meanwhile, guys, on the Hawks side of the ball, we all saw it happen last night. Trae Young, he did drop 35 in the Game 3 loss, but this play could have a major impact. You saw Trae landing on referee Sean Wright's foot. The MRI today revealing that he has a bruise on his right foot. So now for the latest on his status going into Game 4, we go out to Atlanta and Malika Andrews.
Maria, while Trae Young and the Hawks were initially optimistic about his availability for Game 4, this is the type of injury where things can change hour by hour, minute by minute. So they're continuing to monitor Trae Young, I'm told. It's about his pain tolerance and his mobility. So he continues to get treatment because Trae Young is a player who so badly wants to be out on the floor with his teammates. And the Bucks, I'm told, are preparing as if he is going to be out there playing in Game 4 because, as Giannis Antetokounmpo said, he is such a focal point of their offense, and they want the Hawks' best shot. But this is truly something, because things change, where they're going to need to see how Trae Young feels in the morning before making a final call for his availability in Game 4. Back to you in Phoenix.
All right, appreciate it, Malika. Obviously, Trae Young has been an aberration so far this postseason. He has 8 30-point games, and he's playing in his first playoffs, Woj. But obviously, the Hawks would have to really battle hard with their star hobbled in Game 4.
Yeah, and as Malika is reporting, there's real concern about his status for tomorrow night. And you've seen in these playoffs, it has become a battle of attrition. This is a Phoenix team, that faced in the first round a Lakers team that lost Anthony Davis, and then a Denver team, that was without Jamal Murray, and now a Clipper team that didn't have Kawhi Leonard to try to come back from another 2-0 deficit. And same thing in the Eastern Conference. This has been an Atlanta team as they've starting to gotten beat up in this series. Bogdanović missed 13 of 16 shots in the last game for Atlanta, and now the possibility that their best player and Trae Young either could be limited or out for that game. It has shown the teams who have physically been able to withstand the punishment of this season are on the cusp of getting to the NBA Finals.
And Woj, you acknowledge the crucial thing that's going to work against the Hawks, their best player. And we're seeing that in this series without Kawhi Leonard. And what does Trae Young do? Everything for the Atlanta Hawks.
Literally everything.
That's how Collins eats. That's how Capella eats. Playing off the ball gives Bogdanović a chance to get opportunities. Has helped made Red Velvet into an ATL cult hero. So without Trae Young, and if he's hobbled, unfortunately, Jay Will, they may not win another game if he's not 100%.
Well, and I'll add to that, Jayla, when Trae came back into the game with just about 9 minutes left to go, and even though he was in the game, he was hobbled, the Hawks were outscored 25-9. It wasn't the same, even though he was on the court but wasn't full strength.
Right.
And today's a different day because today is going to be the first day throughout this playoff series. I'm giving a shout out to Coach Budenholzer. You know why? Because in the fourth quarter, you saw them attack Trae Young. Chris Middleton was always involved in a pick, and he always ended up with Trae Young as his primary defender. They attacked him. So when he was hurt, when he was hobbled, that's what you do. That's what people want to see them do in the series against the Nets when he was being guarded by James Harden. So I give a big shout out to them. And look, when they play at the highest level, the Milwaukee Bucks are really good, y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really good with the way they defend, and Chris Middleton taking over in the fourth. Yeah. And that's a championship team.
Yeah, and we heard Giannis even saying, I'm cool with Chris Middleton taking it over at the end of games as long as we get the victory. And he's been great in clutch time, and we saw him being able to score poured on in the fourth quarter. Are we just being awakened to Chris Middleton being this clutch player and his ability to really lead a team during the playoffs?
I think for mass consumption, yes, because when you add Drew Holiday and people like me say they have a big three, the question mark for a lot of people is, what about Chris Middleton? He's a game-changing player, Maria, because of one thing. He's efficient, and he's fearless when he get going. And I saw what happened. He was guarding Gallo in the post. Gallo elbowed him. He got mad at the ref. It was like, oh, it's like that? And before you know it, killer instinct kicked in. And he scores from all phases, and he's unfazed by the moment.
Yeah, and he's such a good teammate, good leader. When Giannis needs him to step up and take over a game, he does it. When he needs to defer, he is all about winning. And I think when they brought in Drew Holiday as their third star there, and here's a game, a perfect example. In the last game, he shoots 2 for 11, but he has a dramatic impact on the game because of how he defends. And so they've got a group in Milwaukee that they had hoped, could get them over the hump in the East, and they're almost there now.
And guys, let's be honest, he's had multiple seasons where he's flirted with 50, 40, 90.
Correct.
Yeah.
And just to let people know, that's very challenging to do with the volume of shots that Chris Middleton has to take playing with Giannis.
Well, it's only about 10 people in the history of the league to ever do that. But also, his fourth quarter prowess does not take away from Giannis' greatness.
Thank you.
I played against Shaq and Kobe. In the first 46 minutes, it was give it to Shaq. The last 2 minutes, hand it over to the Black Mamba to close the deal. That's what you need your skilled perimeter player to do.
Exactly, and that's why Chris Middleton leads him in clutch points.
Yeah, well, listen, that's a great point that you bring, because we were going to get there anyway, but the 2000 finals with the Pacers, and you were going against Shaq, and they were outscoring you in the paint by 64 points. Right now, the Bucks are outscoring the Hawks by 70 points in the paint, so I'm actually curious, as a team, how do you deal with it? Is it just like, listen, these are the points we're going to give up, that's Shaq, that's Giannis, whatever, and try to come up with a different game plan to defend, but how do you attack a situation like that?
See, this fun-loving Shaq that y'all get to see on every commercial, that man was violently dunking the basketball. And they was on the triangle, Jay. You know he'd get on that left box, and he was the immovable object. And there was nothing you could do about it. Multiple players, multiple fouls, multiple double teams. You just hope to stop him from dunking or foul him. For Giannis, he's all over the place.
Right.
And he just developed a one-leg fallback jump shot. So when you're going against a guy like Giannis, it's key for him to continue to attack Maria. Giannis, don't settle regardless of who's guarding.
The answer to your question, Maria, is no, you can't stop them.
No.
You can't stop them with their size,
They
with
don't
how
settle.
they attack in transition, and when they do not settle. The only hope for the Atlanta Hawks to win is Trae Young needs to come back and have an out-of-body experience. He needs to be the prolific scorer we've known him to be because he does so much for this team.
Chris Middleton outscored the Hawks by himself, 20-17 in the fourth quarter of Game 3. It was the second time a Bucks player had 20 points in a quarter over the last 25 years. Middleton has both of them. For more on the Eastern Conference Finals, we have reports from both teams, starting with Tim Bontemps on Trae Young's injury.
Hawks coach Nate McMillan said Monday was a get-what-you-need day for his team. What Atlanta really needed, though, was good news about Trae Young's sprained right ankle. An MRI revealed a bone bruise in Young's right foot, and the Hawks listed him as questionable for Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals Tuesday night against the Bucks. But that didn't change the level of concern Atlanta had about its star and his availability for the biggest game of the Hawks season. That's the head of our snake, Hawks forward John Collins said. That's the last thing I want to see. I hate to see it, and I'm just hoping and praying he's going to be okay. For more on the Bucks, here's Malika Andrews.
Tim, you mentioned the Hawks using the phrase head of the snake when talking about Trae Young. Well, the Bucks use that too, and they are preparing as if he is going to be out there for Game 4 because, as Giannis Antetokounmpo said, he is such a focal point of their offense, and they want the Hawks' best shot as they look to go up 3-1. And in order to do that, they're going to need to get off to a faster start. And Giannis Antetokounmpo said that comes one stop at a time, one possession at a time. They have been in this position before where they've been 2 wins away from the NBA Finals, and it hasn't gone their way. So they're not letting themselves look ahead too much as they look to rectify that history, Stephen A.
Thanks, Malika. Big Perk and Wilbon back with me right here. Perk, I'll come to you first. How much hope is left for the Hawks in this series, and what is it based upon?
Well, it's no hope, Stephen A., and I hate to say it. They just got to get on their knees and pray. For the simple fact that Trae Young, he has to be healthy. He's a small guard that relies on his speed, his quickness to get past bigger people. And when you have a guy like Drew Holiday guarding you, you need to be 100%. And right now, what Giannis is doing, attacking the paint, only took 2 3-point shots last night. He is dominating inside. And Lord knows, Chris Middleton, the performance he put on last night. All they need is for Drew Holiday to be consistent and come to the damn party. He played one of the worst games of his career last night on both ends of the floor. They get anything out of Drew Holiday, guess what? The Bucks in 5.
I'm not going to lie to you. I don't even think they need Drew Holiday at this point. Not if Chris Middleton is shooting the basketball like that. If he's shooting the basketball like that and Giannis is attacking the basket, that's putting more pressure on the Hawks to hit their perimeter shots because it's the only hope they have, Wilbon, and I don't see much of it. I think it's Bucks in 5 as well. Where are you at with this?
You going to promise me that Giannis is going to play within 12 feet of the basket, or might he wander out and shoot 12 threes like we've seen him do in this postseason? Stephen A., if Giannis plays within 12 feet of the basket, 10, 12, 14 feet of the basket, and does what he did last night, Of course they're going to win every game. But Milwaukee wanders away from its own formula.
Yeah.
They get happy shooting threes. Middleton doesn't even need to shoot that many threes. What, mid-range, in which he's one of the best people left, he and Booker in these playoffs at mid-range scoring. You mean to tell me they need threes to beat Atlanta? No. Atlanta's got to, as Perk said, Trae has got to be, I don't know, 90% of himself in order for Atlanta to have a real chance. But I've got to see the Milwaukee Bucks stay with what they ought to do, and we haven't seen it. How about if Bobby Portis doesn't play for 2 or 3 games like it happened in the Brooklyn series? Bobby Portis had 15 points off the bench last night. Defensively, you know you can count on him to a great degree. Is he going to play? We have no idea what the Milwaukee Bucks are going to do from night to night. If they play like they did last night, that's the formula. They win the series easily.
The Milwaukee Bucks are in the Eastern Conference Finals, and we still got ourselves scratching our head at what we've seen Budenholzer do so far, particularly with the